Hey everyone, and welcome to 360 Tech Pulse. I'm Max, and I'm excited to explore how tech is shaping the future of business. Whether you're an IT professional or just curious about how technology can help your business grow, this podcast is for you. No jargon, no buzzwords, no BS. Today we are going to talk about something crucial: flexibility in technology. Customizable tech is no longer a luxury, it's more of a must-have. From automating processes to creating personalized customer experiences, businesses are leaning into this shift to stay competitive. Let's dive in how flexible solutions can help you thrive in today's fast-paced world. We have a series of questions, and we have these post-its here that are going to help us explore the subjects of today. The first question we are going to explore is: what challenges do businesses face when they are trying to rely on standard tools like Excel, and why do they need custom solutions? Well, the problem with standard tools is that standard tools are often very rigid. Let me pin this here real quick. Okay. Standard tools are very rigid and they are most likely old. Excel is one of the examples, even though Excel is still very used, especially in the finance sector, and is also a very flexible solution that is used in more than one way. However, most of the ERPs or CRMs that are older are very rigid. They are very, let's say, not very customizable, or they are very expensive because you need specialized people that have to work with said ERPs and said systems. Therefore, we need to make a shift to custom solutions. And why this matters, let me pin this here too. Why this matters is that because businesses need technology that evolves with them. Especially for small companies, it's quite easy to pivot or to shift direction or to adapt to a change in the market where, for example, new regulations or whatever else. If you want to change your market or something happens and whatever. Whereas big companies don't have such a luxury. Imagine companies like Google. Even though they are very well organized and so on, they still have a big problem. They are too big. They can't move very fast. They can't innovate and pivot if there is an issue, or how the case is right now in Europe with the new regulations for data privacy, where there have been like 5 months or almost close to a year since we've got an update for the Gemini API or for the Gemini chatbot that they have. It's not only a trend to apply custom solutions, it's more of a necessity. And it's a necessity because custom solutions that are fit for you are fit for you, as it's written right here on this postcard. And it's no longer the case as it was 10 years ago or 15, 20 years ago, when you could just basically take a business plan and go on with it. Now the market is more open, the market is more competitive, so to say, and therefore businesses need to quickly innovate, they need to quickly adapt, and just a good business plan is no longer something that it's necessary by itself. The business model, I mean the template of a business model, for example, buy cheap from China and sell expensive on your eShop in US, this ain't gonna really work anymore, because first of all, people need something that is more personal to them, that it's more personalized, and more than this, in order to actually compete in such a competitive market, you need an edge, you need something fresh, you need something new, you need to change, and you need to innovate even on that business plan itself, you need to innovate on the processes, you need to come up with fresh solutions. Therefore, why custom things work better for small and medium businesses is that, as opposed to, let me put this quick here, as opposed to big companies that they have the same legacy systems for who knows how long, small businesses I mean, and these bigger businesses, they can't really change this fast to something new. They need a lot of time, they need a lot of training, they have a whole lot of costs associated with these changes. They are more rigid because they are just so big. Whereas for small companies and small businesses, they can take advantage of the fact that they are very small and nimble, so to say. Efficiency and scalability are two of the most important things for small businesses, because as competition grows, as businesses grow, as they need to innovate and they need to come up with new solutions, their whole operations might change from one year to the next. And what are you going to do if you have the same, I don't know, SAP system you've had for like 3 years, and you basically all you did is just find workarounds to do those things differently on how you do them now, and you wouldn't like customize it because either you don't have the expertise, or because it's expensive, or because you can't find the right people to do this implementation for you, and so on. Whereas with custom solutions, this is way easier, even if it's made in-house by your team, whether it's with a software agency that can help you implement new changes on the go, keep maintenance and so on, or whether you're using open source solutions that can do the same things, but they're also easier to customize. Again, whether you're doing it internally, or if you're getting a freelancer, or if you're getting an external team, or their official team of development for said open source software, such as Odoo, for example, which is a very popular one. Again, small and medium businesses should be powered, and they should be powered by custom software, just because, oh, I dropped it. Okay, let's pin this here. Now, I'm going to talk a bit why big companies are struggling to adapt. So, I repeatedly said so far that they are big and this is the main cause. Well, yes, it kind of is, because being so big, you can't change very fast. You can't pivot your whole infrastructure from one provider like AWS to another provider like Microsoft Azure, for example, in this case, because there are like probably thousands of computers and servers that need to adapt to this change, and this is not going to be very easy. Whereas in a small company, maybe 10-20 people, this change can be done, maybe not from one day to another, but maybe from 1 week to another with proper trainings and stuff like this. And they can't really adapt very fast because they have certain let's pin this here too, because they have the market at least, and their customers have certain expectations coming from them. They are used to how they are doing their things. For example, if Google tomorrow stopped doing Google and there's just, let's say, I don't know, start just selling autonomous cars or whatever, yeah, maybe it's kind of cool, but we're not going to have Google anymore, and a lot of people would complain. These are other types of things that are kind of drawing them back, for example. And other companies that are, let's say, not necessarily the tech giants, but your average large company, large corporation with like, I don't know, 1 to 500 employees, they are most likely going to use legacy systems, and they know how to use that for so long, and most probably the people who work there are not necessarily wouldn't necessarily adopt change that easily because of a lot of reasons. And using these legacy systems is very comfortable for them. And even if they were to change it, as I mentioned before, there are a lot of costs associated with this. You need to find the same time to keep the productivity of your people, at the same time that you're going to find how many hours of training for each person to learn how to use the new system and to not impede their productivity. Plus you have a lot of other direct costs about training and about, let's say, the feedback for it and implementing the feedback with your provider and so on and so on. These are all challenges of such legacy systems. They are just simply outdated, so to say. And they are not flexible. You can't do pretty much, I'm going to put it here this time. You can't do very much with such legacy systems. There are even whole industries that are still using very, very old systems. For example, what I know about we have some clients in the PVC, windows and doors industry, and I know that most of them are using a few pieces of software that haven't really got any real updates since 2000 something, which is basically 20 years ago. Imagine working on a software that's 20 years old. Most of you ain't gonna know how that would actually look like. And this is not necessarily a huge problem, but the market still needs to evolve. And we've had this client that just needed a selling solution and some kind of also a CRM and also an ERP to somehow evolve his business and bring it more into the digital world, because basically what he was doing was client would call him or email him, he would just discuss details over who knows how many conversations, he would send his quotation for the Windows project, for example, like 5 windows, this big, to his client. He would say back, no, I don't want it like this because it's too big, because I don't like the color, because I thought the color was, I don't know, and how many other things. And they would go back and forth for who knows how long. Therefore, we just came up with a solution for basically the professionals only, where you would go into a web interface, or on a web interface you would do your window configuration, your whole project with how many windows and so on you want, and then you could monitor the whole selling process from there. When it goes to the customer, when it's on transit, when the factory finished fulfilling the request, and so on, without all of those extra steps and back and forth with the customer. If something needed to be changed, you would just change it without any complications as it was before. And we had another client that basically what he needed was kind of a step forward to this. He didn't want all that CRM or ERP and complicated mess behind it. He just needed a very simple selling solution. He just needed people to come on his website and order a window very fast. And that's what we did. We basically created the quick web store, so to say, an online shop where you'd have a 3D viewer on a side with all the sorts of types of windows in 3D, whether it's with 1 opening, 2, 3 openings, sliding, balcony doors, and how many other web options. And on the right part you would basically have your whole selection type of thing, basically how you have on one shop, an online shop. You have product image on the left, and on the right you have like the choosing options. Kind of the same thing, but with a very interactive 3D, somewhat realistic 3D viewer, where you could actually kind of see the window. And another example that could actually benefit people is for one of our other startups, especially when it comes to, this is not necessarily only a custom solution, it's more of a novel way of selling and marketing your product. For example, if you are in the real estate market and you are selling apartments or renting them or whatever, maybe photos are not enough, because you can miss certain spots, you can not properly, let's say, frame the perspective of a room or whatever. So what our solution is virtual tours. We are doing for one of our startups where we basically create a render 300 degrees 3D environment, whether it's photographic, like we go in with one of those 360 cameras and make photos and like put them together afterwards, or we are just taking the floor plan and we are making it from scratch using 3D modeling and a lot of rendering power to do it, to envision the space as it is in reality, so companies could sell it better. Now, I've talked about how small businesses can pivot faster and why custom software could actually help them. It's easy, especially when you consider that small businesses, there are a lot of times and a lot of examples where a small business was maybe doing well for a while, then their thing they either got out competed or something happened, and they simply found a better thing to do with their time and that would produce more income and they fully pivoted towards that thing. Imagine you are a company using a very rigid CRM or ERP or something, a tool to organize yourself internally and your processes and so on. Imagine you are starting to pivot and you are doing something completely different with an entirely new set of operations. There are of course a lot of risk associated with this because you're basically shifting towards doing something completely different, and all the intrinsic risk that is coming with this, but you also have to basically, purchase a new piece of software, or you have to do something because you need another operational infrastructure. Now imagine you're using another more flexible tool for this purpose. For example, there are many, Trello, there is Notion, there is Monday.com and so on. These are very flexible. Of course, it's going to be some friction and there is going to be some time involved in this, but you can actually do it yourself. You don't need to call the sales team, you don't need to spend God knows how much time discussing with them, setting new terms, setting new requirements and so on, plus the whole implementation that comes with it and so on and so on. Now let's discuss a bit about how custom tools can improve your efficiency. Well, it's not necessarily only a matter of efficiency, it's a matter of everything, because as I said, having a custom tool, whether it's developed internally, whether you're hiring a software agency to develop it for you, there are a lot of benefits that come with that. Mostly the flexibility of it. It's tailored to your company and your company only. If you're going to pivot or if things are changing, you can change it pretty fast because you're either controlling it yourself or you have a team that you are closely keeping it together with. Moreover, having a custom tool by definition being fit for your needs, you can automate a lot of processes. You can automate a lot of things. Most often, that things that are automated are things like invoicing, for example, or maybe the customer support with live chats or AI chats even now. Moreover, having a custom tool allows you to integrate it with more or less every existing system that you have. If you are already using legacy systems and you have to create something on top of that and you need them both to integrate, it can be done. It's going to be a bit more expensive because integrating with old software is usually more expensive because it's so old. And what else is needed for a company is long-term growth, because a software, especially in our times, a software evolves with you. If your software cannot adapt, well, along with you and your business's needs, well, you're going to have to change it every year or every 2 years, or who knows how often. Okay, so wrapping up, if you are still using or relying on very old or rigid tools or things that were promoted to you as one size fits all, now it's kind of the time to explore something more, whether it's custom solutions or whether it's something open source that is basically still a custom solution. Starting small and focusing on areas that will have a big impact, that will scale you grow, are basically the way. Whether maybe for you something that will help you scale is infrastructure, maybe it's finding a new selling solution, or maybe it's just finding another way of doing your processes and operations that would help you grow better. Who knows? Remember that custom solutions are not for today's needs, they are designed to evolve with you and with your business and keeping you future-proof in the fast evolving market. Thank you for listening to 360 Tech Pulse, and make sure to like and subscribe for more insights on how technology can drive your business forward, and share this episode with others if you feel like it.